You're listening to A Teaching Moment with Mr. B.
Are you ready to unlock your child's potential? Find the perfect blend of learning and fun at MrBTheTeacher.com. Start with his 2 award-winning books, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-age child, and the essential Speller the Feller. Bring joy to reading with humorous and engaging stories like My Coconut Head, all on sale at Amazon.com. But the learning doesn't stop there. Make any subject fun with the catchy curriculum-based tunes from Mr. B's Beats for Brains. Please enjoy this sample.
I am renowned, who lives in town. I am a pronoun, me, myself, and I sound. Who am I? Who am I? Make me make sense when you write a sentence.
Is your child ready to see real academic growth? For personalized expert tutoring, connect with Mr. B through Varsity Tutors. Details are at MrBTheTeacher.com. That's MrBTheTeacher.com, your partner in learning success.
You're listening to A Teaching Moment with Mr. B.
Good day and welcome to A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Welcome to podcast number 43. And this podcast is entitled What Mr. B, the Teacher LLC has to offer Part 2 podcasts. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to access all the podcasts that I've been recording and issuing through the MrBTheTeacher.com website. I'm going to explain to you where you will find all the podcasts that we have available for you to listen to for your own listening pleasure. We've recorded a total of, this is the 43rd podcast right now, but you're about to access all the podcasts that we've had from beginning when we began 3 years ago to today's podcasts that you are listening to right now. And all of these podcasts will be found at certain location through MrBTheTeacher.com. But to begin with, I would like to read you our mission statement about Mr. B the Teacher LLC. And this is it. Through Mr. B the Teacher LLC, we create meaningful and personalized learning experiences that inspire growth, confidence, and a love for learning in every child we teach. Through Mr. B the Teacher LLC, we help students overcome challenges and discover their strengths, fostering a positive and engaging learning environment where every child can thrive. And through Mr. B the Teacher LLC, we provide supportive and tailored learning experiences that build confidence, ignite curiosity, and empower each child to succeed. So those are our goals and mission statements through our Mr. B the Teacher LLC. These are our main goals for why we are who we are. So we want every child to succeed, and that is the ultimate goal. And we talked about in the last podcast the tutoring services that we have to offer. So please refer to the last podcast, number 42, for that information. In this podcast, however, we're going to talk about podcasts, how you could access this and all the other podcasts that you may or may not have heard. And this being the 43rd one. So first of all, you need to log on to MrBTheTeacher.com. So type in your search bar, MrBTheTeacher.com. And when you get to the home page, you'll see 7 tabs. You see that there's the home page tab that you're on. Then there's About Mr. B. And then there's Podcast tab, Blog, Media, Shop, and Contact Mr. B. The third tab at the top says Podcast. Now, so there's two ways you could navigate. You could either click on the podcast tab, the top, which I'll take you to in a minute. But before we do that, I would like to have you scroll down. You would scroll down to where it says products and services on the home page. Under the female student with a book and brief information about Mr. B, has been assisting parents and educators charting the course for student success for 25 plus years. Under that picture of a student and that information has a small heading saying products and services. And under that heading, you'll see 4 tabs. The first one on the left in orange is books. The purple tab is music. The green tab is podcasts. And the 4th tab is varsitytutors.com, which was the tab that we worked and clicked on the last episode. In this episode, you're going to click on that 3rd tab which says podcast, is in green. And on this podcast tab, it says, this podcast dives deep into Mr. B's book. And that book refers to my first book that I've written, which is an award-winning book. That book is entitled Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-age child, which won the International Impact Book Award in December 2024. That's the book I'm referring to when I say dive deep into my book. That book is a reference guide, a practical reference guide for parents for how to deal with their school-age children from elementary to college level. So I advise you to check out my book. It's available now on Amazon.com. It's available right now in paperback and Kindle forms. And this podcast tab, it says that this podcast dives deep into that book, offering practical tips and strategies. So the main reason why we began these podcasts 3 years ago was to dive deep into sections in that book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, in order to highlight and pinpoint certain strategies and skills that parents need to have in order to deal with their school-age children from an academic point of view. And seeing that I've been a teacher for 25 plus years in the classroom, I've often had conferences with parents. And there are so many questions which came up and issues that came up in these conferences. And I address many of these in that book. So please check out that book. Now, if you click on Listen Now, there's a tab under the podcast that says Listen Now. Click on the Listen Now tab, and it will take you to that Teaching Moment with Mr. B, which these podcasts are called. And you will see a list of my last several podcasts. These podcasts are the latest podcasts that have been listed. And let me explain that. You're going to see the latest. When you click on that, Listen Now, you're going to see episode 43 going down. And any future podcasts which come after this, it will say from that number. And it is listed backwards. These podcasts are from my YouTube channel. So these podcasts are connected to the YouTube channel, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. And if you notice, when you clicked on that Listen Now, you saw the YouTube page come up. I used to record podcasts through Spottily, through Anchor. But now, for the last several podcasts, for the last year, we've been recording our podcasts through our YouTube channel. And if you click on any of these listed podcast episodes, which are through the YouTube channel, let's say I click on episode 40, our 1-year anniversary. When you click on it, you immediately see the podcast episode show up. And if you click play, it will play the entire podcast for you. It has the podcast number and the name of the podcast. In other words, the subject that I covered. You'll see a picture of me on the right and a teacher moment with Mr. B. And if you click play, it will begin playing the podcast for you in its entirety. If you scroll down below the video that will play, the podcast that will play, which is audio in nature, if you click more, the more tab below the video, below the podcast, you will see a whole list of information show up. It will tell you the date. It will give you the date of the podcast, a teacher moment with Mr. B, Power Hour podcast. Come listen and celebrate with us. Then it tells you what is featured in the preview of this podcast, which features some of my other services such as songs that we have to offer, educational songs, which will be another podcast about how to access those. And then below that it says, click on this link to buy your copy of the award-winning book. And it has the link there for you, which comes from our shop tab. And then below that it says, and listen carefully to this part, to listen to episodes 1 through 32 of A Teacher Moment with Mr. B, Power Hour podcast on Spotify, you click on that tab. And when you click on that tab, you will see all the original 32 episodes that I recorded on Spotify show up. And you'll be able to click on any of those episodes that you wish to listen to, and you'll be able to listen to those audio recordings live. Whether it's episode 32, learning plans and lesson plans versus lesson plans, that was the last episode I recorded through Spotify over almost a year ago. And then episode 31, when I was launching our business for the first time, it was episode 31, Mr. B's Business Launch. But we've began these podcasts since 3 years ago, in 2022. And there's a tab down below that says load more episodes. So again, the episodes are listed backwards from the latest from the latest episode going backwards to the original. So the numbers are numbered backwards. It has the episode number and the title of each podcast. So according to which podcast you wish to listen to, you click on that and it will play for you automatically when you press the play button. It gives you a description of the episode. And if you want to see all episodes, you can click to see all episodes. And what you would do, so many episodes would show up and it says load more episodes. You could load more episodes tab. And it will load more episodes for you. And you can keep loading more episodes until you get to episode number 1. And episode number 1 began over 3 years ago, in July of 2022. And the first episode was called My Overall Purpose for Writing My Book. The same guidelines for the successful student, a closer look at parenting your school-age child. That was my introduction episode for podcasting that we did. And from then on, in ascending order, you will see the episode numbers and titles listed. So I have episodes about ranging from what is our role as parents in our school-age children to what our children's role is as students in school, what questions should we ask when we choose the right school, what school supply lists should students have for school, what accommodations should be made before, during, and after school, how should you design an after-school schedule. All these are topics that are addressed in my book. And I pose these questions on the podcast and dive deeper into these areas. What are the most common questions teachers need to ask parents at a parent conference? That's a good one. That's episode 12. Issues with the family, episode 14. I'm just picking out some of these at random. All the episodes are listed here. Episode 19, lack of communication between parents, teachers, and administration. How do we resolve that issue? Click and tune in and find out. Mr. B's top 10 topics that should be taught in schools is one of our most popular episodes. That's episode number 21, which was recorded in January 2024. You click on that and you would hear the 30-minute podcast about that. And all the episodes, the original 32 episodes, as I like to call them, are listed under Spotify. So you feel free to click on all or any of these episodes to listen to the original recordings, the original podcast recordings that we did, 1 through 32. And when you finish, you just click out of it and you'll be back to where we were. But the latest episodes will be found through YouTube, which will be on that previous tab that you were on when I asked you to click on the tab pertaining to podcasts. And when you click on that podcast, you're going to get the latest episodes, the latest 10, 15, 20 episodes, all the ones that have been recorded through the YouTube channel. So basically, that is all what I have to say about that, except that now we're covering a range of issues and current trends in education, and also some more issues that arise from writing my book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, which is what these podcasts are based on. So I still continue to cover issues and trends, and the average podcast is about 30 minutes long, like the one that you're listening to now. And all of these will be found through the website mrbtheteacher.com. So feel free to check out our podcasts, including this one and many others that follow, and all the previous episodes. So there you have it. Now you know where to find all of our featured podcasts since we began 3 years ago. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast, number 43, in which we examined how to find these podcasts that are available to you now through our website, mrbtheteacher.com. Thank you so much for listening. And as the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise our child. Bye-bye, everybody, and see you on the next podcast.